So defining the agenda, I'm almost sure Ilan has some announcement. I am almost sure, I think I saw him, yes, Stanley might also want to say something. Who else? Eric, I missed you last week. Who is here? Oh, Sipke said he might want to show something. Sipke, is that still right?
Yeah, I want to show something, and I want to talk about that something. Because it's not done yet, but need some input.
Sipke, Ilan, Stanley, myself, I have what to show. Two things. I have this and that. Okay, new websites. What else? Bertrand, anything today? No, Bertrand has nothing to show. What else? What am I seeing? So usual ones, triaging, if we have time. Releases, so progress status. A new website, I have some. Okay, which order? Maybe Ilan, you can start, because well, do you want to start? You have something to say? Do you want to wait? Are you here?
I am. I just wanted to keep the sound low. It took me a bit. I can start it. It'll take me 2 seconds. Can I have the presenter board?
You are.
Presenting. Is everybody able to see what I've got up on the board?
Not yet, and we'll wait for Benedict.
Okay.
Long night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Benedict is recording, and I will start the backup record.
Okay. So very simply, it's been long awaited. Everyone's been asking, rightfully so, where are the videos from Harvest? They are here. They are on their own dedicated Orchard Google Plus group / YouTube channel. The last 3 videos are being uploaded as we speak. It's taking a long time, and I'm going through each one of them, updating titles appropriately, adding tags appropriately for searchability, as well as some of the session information for the descriptions, and I'll also do a quick grab of like an appropriate thumb nail, so that'll update those as well. So probably by tonight they'll all be dialed in, at least for V1. If anybody has any experience with sort of elaborating on a Google Plus group in terms of sort of adding art or whatsoever, if anybody's managed it and it wants to help out, please reach out. I'd love to animate this a little bit more. It's a little staid, and add some descriptors and sort of give it a little life, and then start pointing people to this Google space for Orchard.
So if you want to start with one video, I suggest you to start with what's the name of? No, that's this one. This one is awesome. That's the second best video, but the first best is the first you pushed. So it must be at the bottom.
Okay, you want me to show that? Yeah.
And maybe share the link with the chat window. Yes, the summary, the presentation of the Harvest conference. This is an awesome work from Sean, who was the videographer at the conference. Not just the editing, the music, everything is great. It really shows how awesome the conference was, and so yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's.
Are you able to hear the sound from the video?
No, and even the image is awful. So don't mind. Yeah, just paste the URL and people can watch it. It's 5 minutes, but
it's really a great
awesome
experience.
5 minutes, yeah.
So I will do that now.
Great.
But yeah, special thanks so that it's recorded now and forever for Sean Glavy, who spent really above and beyond the hours that he had scoped out for us to not only come in at the conference and work with us, but also on the editing side. I mean, he really just went above and beyond and just kept working with us above the hours that he had quoted and didn't ask us for anything more. So really special thanks to Sean.
You will all understand when you watch this video how awesome the job is. Okay, great. So that's great news. 2 months after the conference, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's the apology.
No, but the content has been edited, so you will see when you watch the videos, the different sessions. It's not just copy paste video stream that he got. He really edited everything and wrapped the PowerPoint inside the videos and made some adjustments. It's very, very nice because he had 2 streams, the PC one that we recorded locally using Camtasia and also the main video that he got live. So that was a good job. We can still see your screen, Ilan.
Do you want to take it back?
No, just so you know. Oh, Sean Glavy. Okay, he's got a website.
There, it's all in the chat window.
Great. It will be in the notes, I'm sure. Benedek. Thanks, Ilan. Next on my list, is that all you wanted to say, Ilan?
Yeah, that's the. Unless I'm kind of waiting for you to lead. I'll follow.
Stanley, you wanted to say something?
No, there wasn't anything for me.
So should I? Well, so I will announce your new websites and with the other ones, but yours is better than the others. So, who else? Sipke?
Yeah.
Let's
Hi,
do
guys.
you. Let's do you.
Yes, do me, please. I'm waiting. So yesterday I had a conversation with Piotr about the templating module. For the others, it's a new module we're working on. It enables you to, for example, when you send an email message, instead of hard coding or coding the HTML template in that activity, it enables you to specify a token called template.execute, for example, with the shape name that you want to use as a template for your message.
Nobody understood what you're saying.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
Maybe
I did.
Yeah, I'll establish a little bit of context. It's just a couple of minutes. Let me share the screen. We're actually working on 2 modules. Well, one is the existing one. It's messaging. Currently, you can send messages using the messaging API, and there's a messaging action and an activity. Yeah, message action activity. But this one sends your message synchronously, or it gets through the channel synchronously. What we want is a queue. So when you send a message, it's just queued, and then a background task will process that queue on a configurable interval. So that's one part that we're working on, and the other part is that is the templating I just mentioned. Benedict, if you can see my screen, I'll...
Yes, I can.
You can? Okay. So as a test, I have a simple workflow here. So whenever content is published, we're sending a send message activity. This is a new activity. Let's have a quick look at that. So we have a recipient, recipient name, subject, and the body. And this is a new token we're working on. It's called template.execute, and the name of a shape to use as the template for this message. One of the issues I was facing is that this sample shape, it's currently, as a test, it's a razor file, but it seems to be really tricky to execute a shape that lives as a razor file outside of the context of a view. So basically you need a view context. And Sébastien, that's something I discussed with Piotr. I hope he had code. He had some code, but that was more elaborate. I'll show you just quickly.
Don't say anything stupid. The guy who invented MVC is on the meeting.
Oh, that's great. I actually need to talk to him.
He doesn't know anything anymore. He forgot everything.
He forgot everything. That's handy.
Manager now, so.
Oh, then he doesn't need to know. Sorry guys, I forgot which file. It's the shape template binding strategy. Here it is. So don't be shocked, but I'll explain. So this method was changed. It's a non-breaking change though. But what? Oh, I showed the invoking code. It makes it more clear. So this is what I want to do. I'm creating a shape of whatever type. In this case, it's a sample shape. I create a display using display helper factory. For that, I need a new view context, and that's where the issue comes in, because this view context has a view property which is used in this method here. Here we're using HTML helper parse, and this will only work.
You. I have two questions.
Sure.
Does it work?
Yes, this works. Nice.
Can you show us instead of the code?
Oh, let me show you. Absolutely.
We'll trust you for implementation, or we'll discuss it offline, because nobody understands what you wrote.
Okay, fair enough.
And if you want to hear 2 hours of C coding, there are some videos on the YouTube channel.
Okay, so, well, then I'll just show you how it works currently. So we have this shape here. We have a priority for the message. This is configurable, by the way, including a channel and a queue. We have to discuss if this is useful. Because a queue can have some properties like the interval that it should be processed and how much time you want to give a certain interval to process, for example, 30 seconds or maybe a minute or 15 seconds. That's configurable. So maybe it's useful to have multiple queues, maybe not. We can discuss about that. So this is the send activity. So when we go and publish a page, that will trigger the workflow we just saw. And here we have a new messaging menu item with our queue. So as you can see, we have a new one here. It's pending currently, and it's processed already. And this is my sample shape. So this templating system that works. The queuing works. It's primarily everything works. It's just that I have 2 questions I want to discuss with Sébastien, but we can take that offline.
Can you show us how to create a template? So for those who didn't get that, because I think you didn't say that, a template is a content item. Okay.
Yeah. So we created. Yeah.
And
yeah, that's also part of the. So that piece has not been implemented because we can go 2 ways. We either implement an virtual path provider, or we, use a wrapper library called Triage. or talk directly to Razor to execute a template.
Yeah.
But
So template is a content item, and every time you create a template, it's also available as a shape, which means those content items are shapes. So let's say you create a content item of type template with the name, for instance, logon. Okay, this will take over the logon shape.
exactly.
Okay, this is just a very specific example, but you can imagine that you can override any shape with that as a content item. And there is a token with that module which lets you evaluate one of those templates dynamically during whatever accepts tokens. So this is a way for users to create new templates or to edit templates without having to create file system-based shapes or code-based shapes.
Yeah, but isn't the template name misleading here? So if you create a new template, it's overriding a shape.
It's
so
misleading for you because you're a developer. And you know that it's a shape. And it's good that you know that it's a shape internally. But let's say you just create templates and you give them names and you can reuse them.
Yeah, for the end user, it makes more sense.
Yeah, if you call it, for instance, a new page created template or email template, boom, for the user it makes sense. And being a shape for the developer, it has lots of advantages. That's all. So I agree, we can still talk about the naming, but I think at first with Sipke we were talking about shape something, but put something called shape into the new menu. People will ask what a shape is. I don't understand. I just want to change my email template or whatever. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the idea.
What we could do is maybe have a shape part and then create a type called template or email template.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. This is Piotr will implement the actual execution of this portion here. He had a nice idea we discussed yesterday. Not just be bound to Razor, but we can extend it a little bit so we could support multiple templating languages in a really easy way. But that's something we wanted to discuss with you as well, Sébastien.
Yeah.
So whenever you have time,
might be useful, might not be useful. We have to talk about it. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
If it's a view engine like in MVC, who cares? Razor is fine. I don't know. We have to. Why not?
Yeah. Well, it would be just a little bit of work to make it extensible. We don't have to use it instantly, but well, we can discuss this after. So that's it for me then.
It's already great.
Thank you.
We need this code mirror with Razor syntax.
Sorry, what?
We need the code mirror plugin.
Yeah, exactly. That's the next thing. This will be a code mirror.
Yeah. We'll see.
UI.
Yeah, but the code mirror Razor coloring is not. It's not exactly the best one.
Sébastien fixed that. Sébastien fixed implemented a nice thing. You know, because it's extensible. You with code mirror, you can implement your own syntax coloring for your own language. That's covered. Okay.
Thanks, Sipke.
There was just one thing about these templates. Maybe we should have a separate tab or menu position menu.
Yeah, I was thinking about it instead of having
templates.
many.
Because, for example, you know, if you're creating a template like logon that overrides a default template, a logon shape, so you should have a way to view the existing hard-coded templates as well in admin somewhere. So you should be able to see what you're actually overriding.
Warning, maybe. You don't want to see that. You just want to be aware that it does that. So when you edit a template, maybe a warning saying, "Oh, the name you're using is already in use." So you're overriding something, so you know that. But otherwise, you don't want to show that to users.
Yeah, but some information should be there.
Well, I don't expect users to see all the available shapes here.
Yeah, because, you know, in the initial implementation, as I did a while ago, it was like when you created a template called logon, and when it overrode some existing shape. So the default, the current content of the Razor file was automatically loaded to the content of the template.
Okay, this is interesting.
So if you create a template called logon and hit save, it will by default contain exactly the same what you have now.
Will it override if you have anything input already? So you're creating a new template and you paste in your own markup, and will it then override?
Yeah, it will. It will. But you know,
I mean, will it be overwritten with the contents from the existing template? I hope
no, it
hope
won't
not.
be. It won't be.
Okay.
But you know, the initial text field is not empty. You know, my idea was that the initial text field is not empty, but it just contains the content of the current template. If it happens that your template is overriding something, so the current content is automatically pasted.
Okay. Well, that may be interesting. What may be even more interesting is if you use the existing name, you use an existing name, then a little warning, or not as a notification, but somewhere in the editor.
Dynamically.
Yeah, exactly. You see, then you get the information that it's an existing shape and an option to include that.
Do you want to load the current template?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. Yeah. That be so it would be more explicit. Yeah.
And it will not bother all the users.
Yeah.
By default. It's just if you type something existing, you are aware of that, and also, so it might be a mistake and then you won't change it, or the option is, do you want to get the current template for it if it's available, and then it goes into the editor directly.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question and a comment. My question is, this new activity that you showed, is it replacing the email activity?
I don't like it. I think we will have to discuss about it, to talk about it.
Because I'm a little confused about the differences.
There will be new ones, for sure, because it's a new module. It's not compatible with the current one. Well, I assume. And also, I don't think it should be the way you did it, Sipke. I'd rather see dedicated activities for each channel, like email activity done. You send an email. If you want to send a tweet, you send a tweet.
Exists.
Yes, but what he did, he mixed the old way of doing it, which we said was bad, because it's like you send a message and someone intercepts it and it can be an email. But for email you need other information than for tweets. So actually it's useless to make it channel based, because you don't have the same informations. And you want custom UI for that, because for an email you want to be able to send to different recipients or to the current admin or whatever. So that's why we should have different, distinct activities for that.
Yeah, that makes sense, because for a tweet you don't need a subject, it's just a body. Yeah, I agree. Currently it's a little bit more generic. It looks like the existing message activity, but you need a different logo, and I agree it should be send email or send Facebook message or send Twitter,
for instance,
tweet or whatever.
But yeah, for Bertrand's comment, there will be new ones. Maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so
will the old one disappear?
I would suggest to make the old channel-based ones to be deprecated, like we did with rules, because the new one is better.
Okay. And the comment that I had was more a suggestion of not making the template content type creatable. For two reasons. One, some users feel pretty strongly about keeping their new content item type menu as lean as possible. And strictly speaking, it's not exactly a content type. It's not. They are not content types in a semantic sense.
In the content thingy, it's not the content.
Not content.
We're using content type infrastructure in content items, but they are not content.
Yeah, so put them into their own admin
menu. Yeah, so that's what
outside
Piotr,
of the creatable stuff.
Yeah, I agree, and Piotr suggested that as well, to make it non-creatable and create its own menu item in the admin menu. Definitely.
Yeah, and this is what Bertrand's saying is actually exactly the thing that I had in mind when I built that module. That it's just a record in a database. It's created on its own. It's not a content item because it doesn't have you won't extend a template with anything.
I don't know about that because
don't ask
see...
Zoltan. Is he here today?
But I can see, Piotr,
Oh yeah.
you can maybe want to create a email template or a Twitter template, maybe, but you make it a shape by attaching the shape part. Wouldn't that be an interesting idea?
Yeah, but the template itself is, when we would keep the templates as just something like template record in the database, not necessarily as a content item, then you could still have a shape part that just when you pick the template.
There is one good point for having a content item. It's versioning. You could say, I want to draft my new template for the email, for instance, and just publish it in 2 days because that's it. So not for reusing parts, but for versioning.
Okay. Oh yeah, but I don't think that's that's why we should use content items. But I don't know.
I'm not saying don't make them content items. I'm saying take them out of the creatable group.
Oh yeah.
We'll do that, definitely. And keep it as content items because the versioning is interesting and it's almost the same as just having a record. We just gain a couple of, which would Zoltan also say, we gain a couple of other infrastructure features we may need.
Great, some modules. And I will also have some comments about the messaging module from what I saw. I recall what we said together later.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation.
So Sipke did that. Yeah, I asked Stanley about some demo. I was thinking Samuel actually. Sorry, Stanley. I don't know why I keep thinking about Samuel also when I see you. I don't know why. I have some demos too. Two things, two demos. So first, I will open it in New Visual Studio. Let me do that here. I load all. I will share my screen. 1 second. Where is the screen share? So Benedict, make some noise when you can see my screen.
I've got it.
Good. This one goes down, this one goes down, and I want one. Oh, maybe it's there. Let me check. I can do that. I will do that. Yep. Okay. Loading. Very slow. So what I want to show you is the new extension that Edward Cullen did. You remember 2 weeks ago, I think I sent some requests on Twitter to have someone do the extension in Visual Studio, which will let us add new file types and project types based on what some developers in the web team did. You might know them, Syed Hashimi and Matt Christensen. They did an extension called SideWaffle. This is very slow. SideWaffle.com. So you see this one where you say file new and you got some custom templates. Here it's for web items. So because it was open source, I asked someone for an opportunity to do it for Orchard specifically. And Edward Cullen responded and when it wants to work. This is very slow, even hovering the menu. Okay. I think it's ReSharper which is loading all the files. Just wait 1 minute. So he did it, and it's now on GitHub. You saw it on Twitter. And it's also published on the Visual Studio Extension Gallery. So I'm about to load it when I can. I'm waiting for this little thing here to stop. Too many files in Orchard. Okay. Tools, extensions, and updates. Is it installed? Where do I see what's installed? Nope, it's not installed. So if I go online, this is still slow. And I look for Orchard. Okay, you see it's called Orchard Seeds. What a great name. Can you still see here? You're moving, so it's okay. You're alive. Not responding. Okay, download. Install. Done, and now you got multiple new entries. If I can click OK, you can add new projects. So for instance, let's create a new module. I won't do that. I don't want to. I'll just show you how it works. New project, and you can go into web. Oh, sorry, but no Visual Basic. Okay, computer is very slow. Web. I clicked Orchard. And because it's new project, it's showing me Orchard empty module, which will create a new sample module with all the necessary files. And you can also, in existing module, create new files. Add new. I said existing item. Add new item. And here again in web Orchard, you have lots of new templates, migration files, controller, content part. Some of them are very, very simple, like controller is the MVC controller. But you also have the search here, which is interesting. So if I say background task, boom, I have background tasks. So this is very useful. What also is very interesting with this module is that source. So if you want to see new templates or to update the templates, Orchard. Seeds doesn't show up like this. GitHub. This is sad.
Chat window.
Sorry?
It's in the chat window.
Oops. Thank you. I would have guessed that Antoine had the link. So if you want to see new templates or update those, you just create pull requests, create issues, and update them, and you will publish the new version. So that's it, and I think it's very useful for the devs. Another demo I have. Any question about that? Cool, nice, good, okay, really nice. Cool. So I hope this one will compile. I'm just building it because this is the one I want to show you. And while I'm building this one, I will delete my current folder here. Delete. Okay. So the demo I would like to show you is a new module I did, and Elon, the guy who invented MSC, not from Wikipedia, helped me. The idea is that last Thursday there was a hackathon for the Azure group, and I decided to do something new based on Orchard, because that's the only thing I know. The idea was to create a hosted solution based on Orchard where you could manage your content, and in order to use this content you could use REST APIs to connect to this solution. And this solution is an Orchard website, a multi-tenant website, which has no front end. So let's say it's Orchard but just the back end. And if you want to use the content, you use REST APIs to get the content or to communicate with Orchard. This is something that I see more and more, and we have already discussed about that, that some developers just use the content management possibilities of Orchard and don't use the view engine at all, shapes and everything. And they use, for instance, another web server, another web app using ASP.NET or whatever they want to load the content. This is also what Steve Taylor showed us at the Harvest conference this year using Backbone, and he made some custom controllers. Hello Computer also for Toyota.ca explained that they were using this technique too. They're also using custom Orchard pages, but they were using a lot of REST APIs for that. I know also some customers who are using this technique for upcoming big websites. So I wanted to try that. I looked at all the implementation that were done on the gallery. There is one implementation on the gallery, but it was only doing the content definition things and only one content-based API. There was another effort from Travis. Travis, is he here? I don't see him. Was just on GitHub, but same thing. Lots of code for handling content definitions, but not content itself. So I did multiple modules, some which are useless because they were just for the hackathon, and some other which are reusable. So this one is the Orchard REST API. This module comes with some. It's like a base module. If you want to do some APIs in Orchard, you want to install it because it will provide you with these things: new media type formatters. So for XML and JSON, the idea is that with those media formatters, these are web API classes. Okay, if you create an API controller, so a web API controller, which returns a content item or an enumerable content item, it will serialize it automatically. So content items can't be serialized on the wire like this because they are, we'll say, they have some links to nHibernate objects, and those nHibernate objects can't be serialized. They reference too many things and they are too nHibernate related. So we need what can be called a DTO to be saved, or we need a formatter which will take them and serialize it as as it needs to be. So those two media formatters will do it. So the end result is that, so this is an example of a web API endpoint, just content items, which takes an ID or list of IDs, and will just do a get many on these IDs and return the result for the published items. Okay, so let me start this this web app just to show you some comments on the chat window. So I started it. Control F5 again.
Hey, Sebastian, have you thought about the OData support? Because it's the real pain here.
Yes, I will talk about it. So right now in this module comes with just a get by ID, okay? And the idea is that any module can provide custom APIs. So you don't have to use this module if you don't want. But every module is able to provide custom APIs. So today, if we do a module, you'll think about doing migrations, doing commands for the command line. You might also now want to think about creating REST APIs for the same module. And the REST API module provides some helpers for that. So for instance, if you go into the indexing module, here, there's a controller called search controller. Yes, which is an API controller, and also provides an API, a REST API, to use the search engine directly using request. So is this thing on? Yes. So I will show you the search works here. Same thing. I did another controller for the projection module, which will execute. Where is this? Query controller. Yes, which will take the name of a query and return the results of the query. So this is very nice because now you can do your queries into the dashboard, inside the dashboard, and expose the results directly. And it will handle the paging also as the REST parameters. Cooking. Okay, done. So this is a standard website, Orchard website. And if I go to modules and I enable REST API, this is so slow. Oh man. REST API, which one? There are multiples. This one, enable. I will also enable, going to the recipes, enable the search engine. So I have one page, it's a default Orchard instance. Because I executed the search engine, the page will be indexed. So I will have only one result. But now with that, I can go to API / and you see, for instance, content and an ID. So let's try 16, it's nothing. 15, 13 is a content item. Let's go to the admin just to see what the page ID is. This is 12. So if I say 12, I have the page. And you will recognize the schema. So it's a list of content items which contain one content item, ID and type, okay, common information. Then all the parts are kind of properties on the document. So body part has a text and it's HTML. Title part as the title, common part as the owner created and everything. And you see tags part and so on. Comment. What about fields? So let's add a field. Piotr has lots of questions. Must have thought about it already. So let's add a field, content definition to page, okay? And I will add a very special kind of field to the page content type. I will add a media picker field. Because it has some specificities. So if I go to content and edit my page and add an image, here, and I will import from my disk pictures, animals, close, select, okay, publish. I go back here and I say API/12. Now I have page as the part because the picture is the field attached to the page part, and picture is a set of images, so I have multiple content items, and each item has a media URL, which is this thing, which means you can reuse as is the content with the fields and the image, for instance. A numeric field wouldn't be, what is that? Okay, yeah. And thank you for the question, because this will lead me to explain you how it works internally. At first, I was using the export of a content item, which by default gives me an XML document, so it's good. Let's use the XML document and at least convert it in JSON if we need. But the issue with the export pipeline today is that it's really done to be imported back. So it uses lots of identifiers, which on a live website using REST-API you don't care about. Well, you can ignore them, but for instance on the media picker field, the content which is exported is the content item identifier, and that's it. So what can you do if you come here using a REST API and you get an identifier? You could just do another query to get some properties of the item. So it was not useful, so what I had to do, I had to create kind of a new pipeline for extracting content items as REST API calls, which is now in the same way you have the export and import event in the content handler. There is what is called materializer. A iMaterializer is just an interface where you can implement saying materializing or materialized for content items and for fields. These are event handlers, which means you don't need a strong reference to REST API to implement them. It will use the Orchard event bus. So any class which implements something called iMaterializer and which has a method named materializing with those parameters will work. For instance, if I go to the media library module and I go to handlers, here I have where is that? This one? No. Why did I put it? Fields? Yes, fields. So iFieldMaterializer is a local interface in this module. It implements iEventHandler too, and it has a method name like this. And by doing that, you just have to implement it and say, okay, when you're materializing a part and a field, if the field is a media library picker field, then it will get the absolute URL of the media which is represented, of all the media items which are represented, and add it to a dynamic object which represents the thing that will be sent to the client. Cool stuff, that bag instead of materializing it. Okay. And it works in the same way for all the parts. So it's the responsibility of each part to expose what has to be exposed to the REST API calls. So for instance, if I go in the REST API, there is a core materializer which will materialize every core part, body part, title part, and command part. And you see it's very easy. When materializing is called or materialized, you just get your bag and say bag.bodyPart is a new container, and this container text will be the text. Okay, and same thing for tags. It's exporting all the tags one by one. We don't care about lazy loading here because this will be solved automatically by the shift. So this won't be an issue. It's really faster actually than today. It's already fast. It's usually twice as fast as the full page call. So if I do F12 here, just to see what it means. So here it's slow because I don't know, I have link and maybe sharing my screen. It's usually 50 milliseconds to process, and it can be cached because it's a REST API. So, and you should cache it. It will enable lots of scenarios. So this is the first fold of what we did for the hackathon. The other part might be interesting. Oh, question, comment? No?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if maybe the core materializer, shouldn't it use reflection to handle all the possible
No, I don't want.
parts?
No, I want it to be a case by case. Just to you could have a reflection based materializer that could be done as a module. It's not an issue. But I really want it to be specifically extracted information, like for the export. You know exactly what you want to export if you want to filter it, to process it, and you expose it. And they can be modules. So if you want to create a reflection-based one, go for it. Maybe we need to make those ones as features, so you can also disable them if you want. So that's not an issue. And I'm sure you will appreciate that it's an event handler. So the other modules are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you answer the other question that's in the chat? Which was, can we have a base implementation that uses export? So that you don't necessarily have one more thing to write if you don't have to.
You could, exactly. You could have one, but I don't.
It could be the base implementation. So that for existing parts, there's nothing to write.
We could make I think we could make it a feature, and you could enable it, but it will be very ugly. And if you start depending on that, it's a new module.
Also, you would need to depend on it.
On
Let's
the
take this
modules.
offline.
Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah, this module RestApi and RestApi host is interesting. I could skip this demo, but I will show you what it does. I hope it will give you some ideas, and I hope to see someone using it. It won't be part of core. I will publish it on some Codeplex and some gallery, probably. But let me show you what it does. So if this is a default Orchard instance. So if I go and say I want to enable REST API host module, REST API tenants module. This one, you see, it depends on multi-tenancy and setup. Why? Because it will work with multi-tenancy and provide a setup feature, and it doesn't work. Ah! What's happening? Interesting. Let's try to restart it. It worked so well. Now it doesn't want, the tenant doesn't want to start. It's so sad.
Looks like your IS has crashed as well.
Yeah, but I think that the tenant doesn't want to start. It's broken. Something's bad. Yep. So can I go to admin at least? Admin. I can't even go to admin. The default tenant doesn't want to start anymore. Yeah. So it worked. Okay. we made demos and everything. So the idea was, when you enable this module, every time you go on the front end, you always end up on a common. Oh yes, okay. Maybe I know what. You always go on the front end with a common view, which is asking for you to authenticate. And when you authenticate as the administrator, the front end is asking for a username, a password, and a repository name, which is actually the username and password of a new user, and the repository name will be the name of a new tenant. So what it will do, if you go on the default tenant with and you are authenticated as site owner, you can create from the front end new tenants. And those new tenants will have the REST API enabled, and also a custom module, which is REST API host, REST API host, which will also prevent the front end from working. So the default tenant will be just a factory of REST API repositories. And this way, you just create as many websites you want, actually as many backends you want, and you can then connect to the admin using the user password you provided, and it just can do REST API calls as a front-end experience. So the idea is that with those 2 or 3 modules, you can have a hosted solution, multi-tenant, for just handling your content items. And for your editors, because you will be then able to create new users, editor users, to edit the content. And from your websites, oh, I know, guys, it's here. We used it on Azure, so it's published. So it was a Azure-a-thon. So let's ignore this error. I will go to the admin. I will authenticate. So this is the default tenant, okay? Okay, I'm on the admin of the default tenant, but let's say we go there. This is okay, so this works. Hopefully, so you see it works. This is what we showed to the demo. So this was an Azure-a-thon internally in Microsoft. So here, if I give a username, a password, and a new repository, it will create a new tenant with those modules. And I think I have one already. Do I have foo? Pets is one example of a repository, okay? And it has no content, but the idea is that when you have a repository named pets, then you can do API / content. I don't know if it's contents or content. Content. Yeah, something like that. Content, and then 16, 15. There is no content. It's completely empty. This is sad. Okay, but if I do it on the main one, this was our example. Oh, let's show it. So we were using also the default one as an example for content, and this one has some cars in it. You see, blah blah blah. And if you go to PHP. Yes, this one. This is a PHP website which is using REST APIs to connect to the default tenant and get all the cars we have in our content management. Okay, so this is a server-side PHP solution which is using a hosted Orchard solution to just handle the content. And for the developer, it's just PHP, nothing more than just PHP to connect to a JSON document. And you see, get all the images. There is paging, and you see how it's fast. It's on Azure. Boom. And we also had a local solution. So this one is a local HTML file, which is, you see, HTML, local, which, if I show you the code here, has some JavaScript in the end, which is knockout, which is using knockout to load here all using the search API, all the content types which are product, and take the page count which is defined here, page count 1, and the page number which is the current page based on knockout. And then there is just a binding here which is for each item create a new row and bind the product media URL and bind the title par title and the text of the body. And this way you have a fully functional website. See here, I can change pages. And it's done in full JavaScript and knockout. There is no Orchard view or whatever Orchard knowledge you need to know. You just need to know the REST API calls. We did HTML, we did a PHP one. What was the last one? Elon? Win 8, yes, Windows 8 application. If it's fast enough. Well, you get the idea. Well, if it works. POM Explorer. Documents, Visual Studio 2013. Projects, this must be the showroom. This one. Ah, no. Don't work. Oh, the showroom. App 9, App 9. Play. If I can click on it, I want to do play. Boom. So this Windows app connected to the hosted solution on Azure, and you see it's just binding some results of JSON. And when I click, I can see the body and the image. It's pretty fast too. Just for Brett, but Brett has a black one. Oh, I don't know if you could see something.
Yeah, we could see it.
Okay, yeah, we can
right.
see.
So that's it. So two things, the REST API module that you can extend and reuse, and also this REST API host and tenants management that will be on the gallery, and that can let you create a farm of, well, with just one web application, a farm of Orchard repositories that you can use for your own websites if you want. OData. So it was in my plan, but the hackathon was just during 12 hours, so I could not do everything. But yes, we also need an OData provider. And the solution that has to be done is by using an OData parser just to parse the query string and to handle specific commands of the OData. I have already implemented the notion of expand, because that's also something interesting. If you go to the API here, what was this one? Okay. If you go to the API and you say, give me all the products, you see here by default you will get all the information of a product, body part, type part. So every materializer will kick in. Okay, but you can also say expand. I think it's this syntax, expand, and just say, for instance, body part, and you just get the body part. So if you want very specific elements in your graph, you can define it. So if you just want the body part and the common part, or you just want the common part, you type them, and you just have that. And if you don't define anything, it will return you everything. So for data, yes, we need to extend the default API, the content API, or to create another endpoint, just to handle OData calls, because there are lots of working OData clients today, which might be useful to create applications. That's it. Questions? Comments?
I just have to say it, but it's really cool.
That is really nice.
Yeah, I already have some customers in Microsoft for that, because I know they were using the same technique but doing their own endpoints, and I showed them a demo. They wanted to. So I don't know when we can ship it. Maybe 1.8 will be too short. I don't know, unless someone wants to work on this. But it's completely compatible with every version of Orchard. Oh no, yes it is. Let me see. Yes it is. I'm using nothing special. It's on 1.x. I think it's on 1.x right now.
What is going to be core in this?
Sorry?
What is going to be core in this?
Core?
Oh, yeah.
Core. What do you mean by core? The core.
Well, included in the default distribution.
When is it going to be core? That's what you say?
What is going to be core?
Oh, I don't know. Well, if it had to be core, the REST API will be a core module, not enabled by default, but should be available. And the materializers will be in their own modules. For instance, in the indexing module, there is a materializer, which doesn't do anything if the REST API module is not enabled.
You have a REST API host module. What is this one?
So again, this one is just for the materializer API and serializing of the serialization of in JSON and XML of the content item. This one is, those two ones you can ignore them. They will be on the gallery. They are to handle multi-tenancy REST API repositories. So this one is for the default tenant to let you create dynamically new tenants. And this one is for a dynamically created tenant to hide the front end.
Oh, okay.
And, what about access control?
I thought about it. Right now, the only access control is site owner. So, but how it should be done is to add a key, an API key, to a user or to users, to user part actually. And when you call the API, you provide the API key. And also a way to enable or disable the requirement of having an API. And this way you can also add permissions because it's based on the user and you can impersonate as a user when you call the API. So yeah, there is some work to do on the module, but it's not so hard. It's already in good shape. It's usable. You saw Win8 app, PHP app, HTML app. It works. It's fast. Same thing, we need to plug in the caching also to that. If we want to use the Orchard output cache to handle API results, today it's not the case. We could extend the output cache module to handle web API calls too, optionally. Yeah. So to be continued. If someone is interested into continuing the work, I'll publish it and can go with it. I have some demos, some websites. I will push it.
Brett, maybe before that.
Once, okay, Brett.
Hey there. Yeah, we have a module called onestop.layoutSelector, and let me post the URL in the chat window. We just decided
not layout selector, actually layout.
I mean, one-stop layout, sorry. And we decided to open source it. So it's on Bitbucket, it's a Git repo, and it's completely unlocked for read access. If anyone wants to work on it, and we'll look at pull requests. It's been actively looked at and used by OneStop for how long? 6 months, maybe.
So this is something that...
Yeah, can you explain what the module is doing?
Go ahead, Bertrand, you do it. You're the original author. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's actually something that was discussed with Nick last week. The idea here is to have dynamic layouts that you create from an admin editor. So you create those layouts with columns and rows, and you can create layouts of any complexity, and then you have elements that you can insert.
Bertrand.
You lost me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
I
Yeah.
can again.
So there is a number of elements such as images, videos, or even parts and fields that you can inject into those layouts. We should probably have a demo maybe next week of this. If you want to see a website that is using that module, you can go to johnvarvados.com. It's actually using it on the homepage and on quite a few other ancillary pages on the site. So it makes it very easy to have very flexible layouts, very fluid, and it's basically you can see it as a replacement for placement. So instead of writing XML files and having to dispatch your parts and fields into zones, what you do is that you create layouts and templates, and you dispatch your parts and fields and elements from the admin instead of doing it from files.
Awesome. This is something that Orchard needs as a core module. We'll have some talks, so maybe offline with Bertrand, you, and maybe also Nick, to see how it can go in the core module, what changes we have to do to make it a core module.
It's a massive amount of work, and it's very generous from OneStop to be releasing that as.
I'm sure Proligens will buy them a beer at next Orchard conference. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to. We did spend a lot of time in R&D on it, so yeah, it's definitely general purpose. So why not? The whole community should enjoy it.
If it works, it might be a key adoption feature for every Orchard user. So, because I'm sure lots of users will go to Orchard if there was such a module. Maybe that's why people will choose actually Sitefinity over Orchard if that's a choice, because they have this kind of feature that we don't. So interesting.
Yeah, I think it merits a write-up on the repo. It needs to be submitted to the gallery, and a blog post also would be awesome.
I won't do it.
Yeah, I know.
Great. So yeah, I have some.
If appropriate, Brett, I'm happy to work on the write-up, since I know very little about it, but could potentially help.
Okay.
So the main website that was shipped this week is visitjamaica.com. Let me share my screen to show everyone. It's in the chat also. Visitjamaica.com. Beautiful site. And if it reminds you the Toyota.co.za animations, this is because the same company made it, Hello Computer. It's an Orchard, obviously. Nice website, nice videos. Huge website in terms of traffic, I assume. It's raining in Jamaica right now, so the pictures are lying. Other websites, also nice ones. On the chat window, where is the chat window? I really like realityshares.com or blah blah blah. Yes, so it's in the list. So let me open them all. Okay. Electric Factory. Nice website, lots of content. Concert updates and offers, so a concert website. Adelaide Bariatric Center. The Irvine Company. This one is not just a website, it's kind of startup solution. reality shares where you can invest in homes and make lots of money. Very nice one. Velkommen.dk, Danish website. Don't speak Danish. And licensebot.com, brand new one. Also nice. So really interesting. So very, very nice new websites. Jamaica. They said they will announce more website this week. I mean Hello Computer. What else? A little bit of triaging, just for fun. Little bit of triaging. Am I still recording? Yes. Oh, posted by Orchard.RestApi. New tutorial. I don't watch all your tutorials, Zoltan and Benedek, just the beginning of it, and it looks good.
Thank you.
Glad to hear.
And I'm afraid I will learn something, which will make me really sad. So I'm scared of watching them. That's also a reason.
That would be drastic to hear, but thanks.
Yeah. Or just point me to the things you think I might not know, and just to see for the challenge. I'm sure I'm discovering things. Oh, status. Sorry, I forgot. Which makes me think that I know some things you don't know because I made them very recently. So you can know that. Last week, this merge was well known. Materializer, this thing we don't care. This is bug fix for but we saw that. Last week started here. Select n+1 fixed. There was an issue in the blog archives.
Thank you very much.
What was it? Don't remember.
It was right there, line 18.
Oh yes, this one, yes, which was causing you thousands of queries, useless queries. So this is very bad code. Don't do that. So here, query blog list. So it listing all the blogs first, and based on the result of the query, it's casting it as an alias path and checking for the path. In this case, we know that blog has an auto-route part, so we can use the auto-route part because it's by design in the blog part. And this is why this alias aspect was trying to hide. And so it's just a query on all auto-route parts, so just loading auto-route parts where the path is corresponding. So it will only load one blog part. Okay?
Yeah, and that was only discovered because we've got several hundred blog archives, so we noticed thousands of queries. But it's one of those things where it's nice to have a lot of data in there because it exposes some of the bugs a little bit quicker.
I agree.
As opposed to a bare bones Orchard database.
It's very nice to have a bare bones Orchard database when you develop too, because it starts so fast and you can focus on your work, you know. And but I agree, that's why you have so much data, so I can find the bugs also. So this one, but I'm not sure this was the root issue. This was triggering the issue, but the issue might have been somewhere with the lazy loading of the users actually, because the SQL queries that you saw were user loading. So I'm not really sure what was the issue, but this is an issue. This other one was an issue because it was loading the roles of a user every time a user was used, and maybe you don't care about the roles, so it's now lazy loaded. I also fixed how comments and how spams were still triggering workflow events, publication events. So yeah, even if it was a spam. This is a pull request. What is that a pull request? What did I do? Oh no, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was a bug, but I fixed it this way. So yeah, the menu now has the identity part, and as it doesn't use its own alias, its own identity. Daniel did a fix. He fixed the Visual Studio references that he talked about last week. He's not here, and I would have complained that he could have easily rebased his work on top of the current change set instead of merging and making a loop. It's not critical. It's just not nice to the eye to have a branch here. It could have been rebased very easily. Just right-click rebase, done. What I do also is when I pull here, I check the rebase. So when it's pulled, it's a rebase pull. So if I have something older or newer than what I'm about to pull, it will rebase my current work on top of the pulled change sets. This one from Lombic, removing the old records from the index task, as we discussed last week. And then I did that. This is new. Nothing fancy, but so the idea is that I had a customer failing to add a field to a part to the site settings. The idea being it's a new site settings part record, but with custom fields. And if you do that and you want to show these site settings as a custom group, like this, here, like a group like here, the fields will still show up in the settings, in the main settings, and not show up in the group. This is because the fields actually don't have the notion of group. I had a customer failing. So what I did with this change set is, more than just fixing that, is actually letting you define the group of stuff, of shapes, in the placement. So if in your, and I have some tests here, if in your placement you do something like this, content column 5 at group, if it's there, it will place this shape into the designated group. So now you can place some fields and some field editors in specific groups. And this way, by creating attaching a field to a part, defining the part shape to be in the group, and also using placement to define the field editor into this group, then you can move them around. And by the way, I also handled this syntax for defining the tabs. So we don't yet support tabs, but I looked at Keith Schuten's fork because he implemented the tabs management, and just for the future, when we take his code changes, now tabs are also supported into the location parsing. It doesn't do anything today, but it's here. So for the future. And some
that's cool. So now you can create site settings without having to write any code. Just that's a couple of fields. But
exactly. And
but you still need placement info, or
yes, you need the placement info to place fields into groups. It's just if you want groups, you can still you can already add fields to the site settings. Yes. It's just that if you want to show them inside a group,
exactly
like this, then you need the add group.
What about the admin placement? Would that could that be extended, or
it could be extended to handle groups too? And this is what Keith Schulen is doing by extending the tabs management. We could also extend using groups, but groups is really useful for settings. I'm not sure it's useful to, well, if it's worth doing that, because yeah, it's just for we just use them inside settings right now.
Sure.
So tabs, yes, will be useful. That's it. And yesterday fixed some. This one, yeah, comments from Bertrand who had some faulty logs, exceptions that were triggered. So I fixed them. Like exceptions if you have a wrong archive data route, or if you provide wrong or non-existing media file to the resizer, it will fail for an exception. Now it will just throw you a 404, no more exception. Okay, that's it. So what was I saying? Triaging. Two minutes of triaging. Number one issue. I'm ashamed of that. Proposed. Unassigned by update date. Edit content for menu item should always display the cancel button. Okay, I don't disagree. Yes, it works. Active. It's not a bug, it's a feature, so I just assign it to future, but it's active, okay? It's not proposed for future, it's active for future, so you can do it if you want. Autofac exception, background service is unregistered. Does anyone see that also? So I'm keeping it for later because I don't see that. I will have the logs. Media manager throws exception. So this was an issue with the newtons of gag, so I will close it. It's not an issue. We can't do anything for that. Render error after changing the culture. So no repro, but someone, so Zoltan saw that too.
Yeah, very strange.
But there is no repro.
Yeah, it just happened once.
Once.
Maybe that's a browser error. It would be interesting to Google that and see if other people are seeing it.
IE11? No. JSON results always return.
IE and Firefox it was.
Okay. Yeah, this is not an issue. Not an issue. Oh, it's fixed actually. It's a fixed issue. Real issue, but fixed. Custom form part exceptions after 171. Okay. Custom forms widgets as an issue then. Got Plex 2. And ooh, nice website. What is it? Jeff is working on a website which looks nice. Is Jeff here? Nope. Sometimes works. Okay, we can do that. Orchard is missing dependencies not displayed with fix. Okay. I like to know the differences. But I didn't check that. Bug including content items when the type contains an identity part. Oh, it should change the identity. I don't agree with the fix. The content manager should not know the identity part. So it's a bug. Active, release. Okay, but I don't agree with the fix. And session state. I don't see the link between workflows and session state. So it's like something or someone tries to put this thing into the session. And because it's using the SQL server as the state server, it doesn't work. Okay. One. Okay. We're done for today. Questions? Comments? Complaints?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we just looked at the issues that were updated recently, so there are a lot of issues that are there for a while now and haven't been taken a look at.
So next time we'll reverse the order then.
Okay.
Or we start in the middle.
Let's do binary
Random,
search.
we should have a random order.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Or you go over every issue, you provide a fix, I push it, and then there is no more issue to look into.
That sounds even more better.
Great. Stop doing tutorials or whatever videos you do and fix bugs.
Yeah, but maybe if we do more tutorials,
videos,
if we do more, then other people will be able to do the fixes.
Maybe.
Those are some great ideas.
Okay, done for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you next week.
See you, bye bye.
Next week, guys.
Good evening.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
See you.
Au revoir.
Bye bye, guys.